Millennials don't matter, or do they? That's an important question right now because there are a lot of millennials, that I've learned this over time, that don't feel like they can buy a home. And that's a shame because this is one of the best times in our history for millennials to be buying homes. The interest rates are extremely low. In fact, I've done a lot of research here in the last couple of hours that tells me that it's less expensive to own a home than it is to rent wherever you're living. I did some research on apartment.com, and a one-bedroom average price is $1,400 a month. That just blows my mind. I can remember many years ago when it was half of that. A two-bedroom average is $2,200, which means that oftentimes they're even more expensive. What I find fascinating about this is that in talking to some people, that they felt like people in the millennial age group did not know that they could buy a home and pay less in rent. Now, there's an argument that people have that say, I'd rather rent because I don't want to pay all these expenses. I don't want to buy a lawnmower and cut my grass and do all the other things that it takes for home ownership. But there's some really important things to consider here. You don't necessarily have to have a big yard and buy a lawnmower. You can buy a townhome or a condo and still build equity. And this is the real key. This is something that I want millennial buyers and parents of millennial buyers to understand. I'll give you an example. I have a relative who has rented for 30 years. At $800 a month, that's almost $300,000 that she has paid to someone else. No equity, no earnings, no financial future in renting for that long. Even if you rent for a year at $800 a month. Now, at $800 a month, of course, that almost doesn't exist anymore. But let's just use that as a worst case scenario. That's $9,600 that you're spending, and it's going out to somebody else. So here's my point. It's easier to buy than you think it is. And from a financial standpoint, it is one of the best things that you could possibly do. Because by putting that money into your own property, whether it's a townhome or a home with a yard, where you get to cut the grass and put a fence up and have your dog outside and maybe even have the kids roaming around on a swing set, on your own property, you are building a financial future. And I think that's what gets lost on a lot of people. They think that the amount of money that you need to buy a home is so extreme that they will never own a home. Well, I'm here to tell you that it is possible. The guy that works for me just bought a home. He's in the millennial age group, and he has talked to some of his friends, and his friends say, I can't believe that I can't buy a home. And he said, I just bought a home. And what I love about that is that he and his wife are now building their financial future. Some people think, well, I'm young, I don't have to worry about that yet. But I promise you, there are lots of studies done on this, that the earlier you start your financial future, the better off you're going to be when you get to the point of retirement, or even to the point where you say, okay, I want to do something else now. I don't like this career anymore. I want to do something else. It gives you that buffer in the bank, and it gives you a way to build your nest egg to invest and perhaps even own more than one property. So what I'm telling you here is this. Millennials do matter. Millennials matter a lot. There are so many hundreds of thousands of you out there right now that have gotten discouraged about home ownership, that I'm here to tell you that you should call me, because I can show you a way to buy a home. I can show you a way to start the first step of your financial future. I'm saying this as a parent. I have 2 millennial children, one of which does own a home, and he has already gained equity, and he's been in the home less than 2 years. So know that there is a way to buy a home. Know that there are people who want to help you buy a home and start you on your financial future. It gives me a great deal of satisfaction to help someone get started in building their nest egg and a financial future for themselves and their family. So I'm Bob Hartwell. I'm with Keller Williams Realty, and I would love to help you own a home. I love millennials.